Welcome to this Perceptive Reader's Technology Moment. Hi, I'm James Lynch. Today we're talking about a little history on Google. Now the reason why I want to share this is because when Google started off years ago, you know what their slogan was? And if you listen to the Perceptive Reader's Moment before this one, I explained a little bit as far as the effect of slogan in marketing, okay, what it means and how it can be used for good. As you see, professionals have to learn it, entrepreneurs use it as well, and how it can be used in a negative way. People who actually use it in a psychological way and even nefarious reasons. See, by learning these things, then you are already able to not only put these slogans into practice, and you can make them in the way that you know will promote your business, you see. Now, with that, it doesn't matter if someone else, ends up getting a different view, because even under the God-given freedom of the universe, you had every right to actually, do upright business practices. This is a side note, because I think about, at times when people even says, ooh, they are doing misappropriation. And what they're basically saying that, they might have noticed someone with a different culture or background that, man, they really, really value, something about this. And it has nothing to do again with elevating one person or culture above the other. See, just like in creation, you see different color flowers, do you not? You got red, you got green, you got yellow, you got purple. Can you go on? All the spectrums of the rainbow are in those flowers. All right. Now, with that being said, you wouldn't say to somebody who's been good at weaving sweaters in the color of yellow or even red that something is wrong or it belongs solely to them. Anyway, you're just admiring the style that they do it in. I actually had several thoughts go through my mind on this, but here's the whole point that I want to get with as far as slogans. And yes, we're getting to Google on this, and you're going to see exactly what I mean. As far as, again, with slogans, because misappropriation or what have you is a word that was once again, it's like, now who thought that up, you see? But all the same, it is what it is. But just because you are taunted or charged as far as misappropriation or what have you, it doesn't mean that it's true at all, you see. And once again, all of the earth and creation and colors and things of that nature was given to us, was it not, to enjoy. All right. And not to be monopolized or what have you. But one thing that I always want to emphasize is you show maturity, graciousness, and dignity, where if you really did get an ideal, from a person, or a group, that you at least make that well known to. All right. Now, getting back to Google, and also with a statement. Have you ever heard the statement, do not be evil? Do not be evil. Remember, that's what Google's statement was. No, they say, don't be evil. But I used the contraction of that. Do not, don't. Yeah, well, I didn't use it. Okay. But here's the whole point here. As they started off, one of the things that made Google popular with their search engine was also this slogan, don't be evil. And boy, so that's a good thing. All right. And notice what they did back in, on their 10-year anniversary. Okay. And, this was like a rundown from, The Guardian, which is a newspaper online, magazine, if you will, but Guardian.com. They wrote something about, and these are persons' names I really want to mention. It said it all began in the summer of 1995 when Larry Page and Sergey Brin met at Stanford University. You see, Brin showed Page around the school. The two students founded Google, named after Google, the term for one followed by 100 zeros. A year later, in a suburban garage, it was incorporated on September 7th, 1998, which became Google's birthday. And, they mentioned other information about millions of searches every day. I haven't looked at the latest stats, but I wouldn't be surprised if there are billions or trillions every day, you see. But here is the thing. This article was back in 2008, September 5th, and it gives a timeline as far as from 1995. It gives additional information of who was involved. You see, the first version of Google. And yes, Page and Brin, they were actually computer science students. Google.com was registered in 1997, you see. And, it goes on to give other information. With the help of Google, see, now this is just something that I'm sharing additionally with my thoughts. Now, with the help of Google, they made the internet come alive. Would you not agree? With the search engines being able to find people. Remember, back at that time when they got started, you didn't even hear about shadow banning or censorship or things of that nature, you see. So you could have a person, an entrepreneur, actually start off their business, put their product online, put in some nice key search engine tags, you see, write some articles anywhere between 700. Really, they enjoyed long form articles back then. It's almost like if you could write an article more than 1,000, 2,000 words or longer, if you hit 4,000, you were doing real good. And so, Google would more than have the search engines pull up whatever it was you were talking about yourself. So in other words, it worked in the way it was supposed to work. It was balanced in the way that it was supposed to be balanced, because they were more concerned that to create a product that everyone could use, everyone with hard work could actually get the opportunity to put their products online and actually be found if they're good products. Again, I want to emphasize, you didn't have to worry about censorship. And let's say if you were struggling at first because already you had a bunch of persons who had, these long form articles and you just didn't have them. Well, that's when you could have actually contacted maybe a friend, a teacher, or even purchase from other writers these different articles. And then you get ownership, for those articles and put them on your website. And guess what? Bam. You will end up getting search engine traffic that way. So it really didn't matter. All you had to do was just promote your product, use some ingenuity, and then guess what? People actually, when they liked your stuff, they shared it. And that's why I said again, the internet came alive with the help of Google and their fair policies and business practices based off of don't be evil, you see. And with that knowledge in mind, you see, I want to share with you, as you know, today we're in the year now, way from 1995, way from the 10-year anniversary of Google, but actually in the year of 2021, what is the situation we have now? You've heard me mention before, the reason why, it's not the only reason why, because it's just not in my heart to do it anyway. But the reason why I try my hardest not to jump on anybody or judge anybody for what they've had to do to get their business and things started, because more than ever now, you even see in the year of 2021, there has been a monopoly on, all the sectors of the economy and things of that nature. Make no mistake about it. And there are a lot of policies that were put in place, to actually stop monopolies, antitrust laws, net neutrality. You heard me mention all of this. And yet what people are noticing is that, wait a minute, the persons at times who are really being charged with certain things or accusations, whether misappropriation or what have you, are really just people trying to make a living. And yet some of the persons or professionals who made the statement, you come to find out they really are, some of them have been part of what people will probably consider a monopoly. See, have you ever heard the term, all is fair in love and war? Where there's actually a statement that also goes along with all is fair in love and business. Now, isn't that something? So what does that mean? It means that they're saying that if you're trying to corner the market on something, in this type of setting, it's perfectly legal to even be evil, you see, to be unethical. And so then you see different business practices pop up, like the ones that they have popped up, like from censorship to shadow banning. But let me tell you what the first word, the square root of censorship, the square root of shadow banning, the square root of ignoring people, and what the square root of all that boils down to a simple term called blackballing. So if a person did not, belong to a certain group or monopoly or what have you, then, at times these persons ended up, becoming blackballed and then shadow banned and things of that nature. Now, with that being said, a point of experience, because this has been requested more than once, about, okay, well, what do you do when you get in that situation? See, now you see why I'm getting to, I'm certainly the last person to judge somebody on what they need to do or what they did in order to get their voice out there. I always emphasize, just don't use the same practices that, you probably have seen used against you. See, you still want to keep that motto, don't be evil, you see, and anyone who tries to, change the context or make a pretext of whatever it is that you are trying to do to still run your business. The whole point is you keep doing things according to your conscious and your ethical business practices the best you can. then it is their responsibility to actually ask you, or in a communicating way. See, one thing I want to make a joke about is, even though Google helped start the internet as far as making it come alive, still there is the appropriate way of still initializing, business with one another, making sure both sides fully understand, no ambiguity and things of the nature. And that's why, they have contracts. And so you heard me mention one time before, yes, there's a lot of memes out there that you see people use from time to time or what have you. You just laugh it off and joke and this and that. But know what? Let's say again, if there's a misunderstanding from a meme or what have you, then the person who has misunderstood, they can always just write a letter. They can always text or call you, whatever, and say, what did you mean by that? And you'll be able to decide whether, okay, this person just pulling my leg, or so I'm not going to even humor it, or I'm going to address this on this one, or address on this, and get to really express, so everybody know clearly what you mean by this and that. Because I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm going to give you a little bit of insight about on one of these technology moments coming real soon. There is going to quite possibly be a change, at least in one of my business practices on something. And the thing about it is, I'm going to thoroughly, though, show you how far people's thinking gets sometimes from something that is not wrong, period. Not even in God's eyes, it's not wrong. But yet, because people have went along with this practice and thinking for so long, it is in their incorrect perception of something that now has ruined something that God said is good. You see? But I'll talk about that on the side. But this is something to think about as we've talked about Google. And I told you this is right on theguardian.com, and it was a 2008 September 5th write-up about it. You can tell that those two men in the beginning, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, do you think they had no other motive except but to make a good standing business product? You see, a workable one that the whole world could use. Most likely they did. And now we're in the year of 2021. I ask you in closing, what is the view of Google now? What is your view of Google? I'm James Lynch. Thank you for being in this Perceptive Readers Technology Moment. You have a nice day.